See a 1-2-3 seventh. You know, the Giants were 14-7 in April.
And he drives one in the air to deep right field.
That right there is another example of why you don't troll professional athletes. Jeff McNeil is better at life than you.
I'm better at life than you.
What's going on, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. If this is your first time on the channel, don't be afraid to hit subscribe. We're so close to 400,000. We talk baseball every single day. We have a few grand slams to discuss. We have Garrett Cole kind of getting lit up by the Orioles, and Zach Greinke was facing his former team. No, not the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks. Now, before we talk about the games from yesterday, we have to discuss a few injuries. So we have the Brewers putting on two of their best players on the IL. Freddie Peralta, I almost said Johnny Peralta, but he has not played in quite some time. Freddie is going on the IL with a strain in his right lat. And then Josh Hader, unfortunately, his wife is having some complications with her pregnancy. So Josh is okay, but his wife, hopefully, she's going to be all right. She's in our thoughts. And then last but not least, Mike Clevenger is going on the IL again with a triceps injury. I mean, Mike Clevenger just can't stay healthy, and I feel bad for the guy. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the games from yesterday, shall we? This Donovan kid for St. Louis is basically Brad Miller 2.0. He can play any single position that you need. He ropes a double in the second, which scored the game's only run through the first 5 innings. Miles Michaelis and Jose Barrios were not playing around. They were each dialed in, but they leave the game with 3 earned runs each. They get into some trouble. We need extras in this one, and Donovan saves the game in right field. What a play. So now we have the bases loaded for Goldie, Paul Goldschmidt, and that, my friends, is a walk-off grand slam. He's basically hitting 340 with an NL best, 16 doubles. He's a 4-time Gold Glover who once stole 32 bags as a first baseman. Like, talent-wise, I would say Paul Goldschmidt is top 10 ever over at the first base position, and I'm going to say that. I don't care. Paul Goldschmidt right now basically locked himself up to be a future Hall of Famer. That's just my opinion, though. Today in MLB history is going to come after the Cardinals game because we have a Cardinals moment. 15 years ago today, rookie, can't believe I'm saying that, time just flies, rookie Adam Wainwright homered on the very first pitch he ever saw in the big leagues. I don't know if a pitcher has ever done that since that point, but yeah, 15 years ago, again, it went by like that. Look at this dive from Jake Cronenworth. I guess the dives in MLB The Show 22 are actually pretty realistic because Jake went full out. He saves more runs from scoring, and Alfaro grounds out to make it 2-1 for the Padres. And Trent Grisham has been a bunting fiend lately, grabbing an RBI on this bunt single. So this one stays knotted up at 2-2. And it's over. The Sugar Daddy, I don't know if that's a good nickname or not, but Jose Azocar. If you did not know, Azocar means sugar in Spanish. He walks off the Brewers, and this San Diego team is going to be filthy when Tatis comes back. And speaking of Tatis, he's actually with the team right now. He's put on 10 pounds of muscle, and I mean, his back looks immense. I cannot wait for him to return. Max freaking Kepler. The comeback season is on. That slam gives him 22 RBIs on the season, 6 home runs, a 144 OPS plus, and he has 4 outs above average in right field. So he's not only doing it with the stick, but he is one of the better defensive right fielders in baseball. Yankees fans probably wish they traded for him instead of my friend. Now it's time to give some credit to Detroit because they make the comeback happen. Scope, he goes 430 feet to your mom's house, and then Haas and Miggy, they drive some baseballs to tie it up at 4 runs. Then Baez, he's gonna have to make the impossible play, but of course, because it's impossible, he can't get it done as the Twins walk it off for their 26th W. That's 5 W's in a row, and I was completely wrong about the Twins signing Carlos Correa. I thought to myself, the Twins are gonna be all right this year. No, they're one of the better teams in the AL, so I'll take the L on that point. Brian Hayes might be entering the most underrated player territory because he's hitting 290 with the 1.8 WAR already on the season, and Rodolfo Castro makes an over-the-shoulder catch later on in the game. The Pirates get another on a blazing speed. Yoshi Susugo infield single. Obviously, I am joking, but he gives his team the lead back. And then David Bednar, he came in when the game was tied, so he's going to get the W instead of the save after pitching a clean 9th inning, and the Pittsburgh Pirates win 2-1. The Cubs and the Reds, Ian Happ says, what's happening? He doubles in the game's first run, and then this guy, Patrick Wisdom, he has to be some sort of Avenger that we just don't know about because he's not human. Over his last 148 games, so not even a full season, he has 38 home runs. So he does strike out a bunch, and his on-base skills aren't the best, but I guess you'll live with that when you're getting that run production and pretty decent defense over at third base. Tommy Pham and Aquino both homer to make it an interesting game for the home crowd, but Ian Happ has been Jesus himself through his career at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. The Cubs now have a 7-3 lead, and now it's 7-4 because I really wanted to show that prodigious nuke from Aristides Aquino, the Punisher. The Cubs still win, and Robertson now has 6 saves on the year. Now let's talk about the Yankees game real quick. We're actually, before the Yankees game, Josh Donaldson was suspended for inappropriate comments versus TA7. He is going to appeal that suspension, and Aaron Judge even spoke on this. He says it's probably not the best idea to make those comments.
You know, joke or not, I just don't think it's, the right thing to do there, especially, given the history, especially the series in Chicago, kind of a little bit of beef. JD for that 1-game suspension, I don't know. I just don't think it's, on JD's, he made a mistake, owned up to it, and now we got to move on.
Speaking of Aaron Judge, that is 16 home runs. Aaron Judge is going to get $300 million if he wants it, even at the ripe age of 30 going on 31. He's going to get that big money because of the way he's playing this year. The Yankees end up with a 2-0 lead when Garrett Cole implodes for just one single inning. The Orioles mess him up for 4 runs in the third, 2 of them off the bat of Yankee killer Austin Hayes. He's hitting .292 with 7 home runs and 20 RBIs, and almost .915 OPS versus the Yankees in 31 career games. Mountcastle grounds out for the 4th run, and methinks that really angered Garrett Cole because at one point he struck out 5 in a row, and Aaron Judge had his pitchers back. 17 home runs. That is the 4th most ever through the first 40 games of any member of the Yankees. I think Gary Sanchez is in there, Mickey Mantle is in there, maybe A-Rod. I can't remember the other guy.
What? Babe Ruth!
And Aaron Judge has a huge lead in terms of home runs. I think he's at 17. The next best guy is either 12 or 13. But Baltimore gets a home run from Urias, and Lopez strikes out 1 for his 5th save. So the Yankees have now lost 3 in a row, and the Rays are just 4.5 games back of first place. Trey Turner is back in Washington, and he's facing one of his best friends in the world, Juan Soto. But it didn't start off too hot for Juan's team. As Trey and Will Smith do their jobs, it's quickly 2-0 in the first. Chris Taylor gets an RBI on a triple. Juan Soto can't grab this one, and Betts gets a double. Speaking of Juan Soto can't grab this one, Betts was blessed by the baseball gods, allowing Juan Soto to miss it. He ends up with 2 RBIs. I almost would have called that an error, but luckily for Betts, he gets the 2 ribbies. Belly and Freeman want some extra bases as well, and if I'm a Nats fan, I probably would have dipped after that. I'm sorry. I would have missed a Trey RBI single, and there's another RBI from Freeman. But the player of the game goes to Tyler Anderson. How do the Dodgers keep doing this? 8 shutout innings, 8 strikeouts. They turn average pitchers into elite pitchers in the blink of an eye. It doesn't really make any sense, but there you go. The Dodgers win easy, 10-1. The Phillies and the Braves, Reese, he came into the game with 20 RBIs, and he's going to bed with 23 after clearing the bases, and JT Realmuto triples to left field, and Kyle Schwarber is able to score because of that. Roman Quinn, he's gifted a rare 2 RBI double by the gods, so a lot of just interesting defense yesterday. The Braves outfield just did not communicate, and Camargo just barely gets his hand in there as he slides in at home. Gene, the hit machine, collects his 17th RBI, and very quietly, he has 31 doubles, 20 home runs, 15 stolen bases over his last 170-ish games. He has been really good, and Zach Wheeler was wheeling and dealing, 10 strikeouts in just under 7 innings. The Braves dropped to 19-23, and the Phillies are starting to find their groove as of late. The Guardians and the Astros, Miles Straw returns to Houston. He was traded there, I believe, in 2021 in the trade for Phil Maton, and he uses that speed to rush Luis Garcia. Garcia throws it over everyone, so an inning-ending double play turns into a run for Cleveland, and J-Ram grabs an RBI in the 3rd on a ground out. So he's just 2 RBIs behind Pete Alonso. We'll talk about him in just a moment. Yeah, just kidding. Yeah, he's no longer behind Pete Alonso. That one is gone, ladies and gentlemen. 10 home runs, 41 RBIs. We'll talk about how many RBIs Pete Alonso has at the end of today's video. And J-Ram has a 187 OPS plus. He has been a monster. Tristan McKenzie has been Cleveland's best pitcher this year. He was electric yesterday. Just 1 single mistake pitch. He goes 7 innings, 3 hits versus that vaunted Houston offense. He lowers his season ERA to 2.7. The Diamondbacks and the Royals. Greinke is going up against his former team, and he got some huge help from the offense. That's 3 home runs. Kansas City goes up 4-0, but Zach wasn't any better. That's a 444-foot bomb from Pavin Smith. Christian Walker now has 11 home runs, and if you think that AZ is done, no, they're just getting started. David Peralta and Jake McCarthy, they tie at 5 runs apiece in the 3rd, and Ketel Marte is starting to get hot, which would be nice for baseball fans across America, because back in 2019, Ketel Marte hit .330 with 32 home runs as a switch-hitting center fielder, second baseman. His cards in MLB The Show are legendary. Anyways, David Peralta makes it 8-5, and my former teammate Jake Hager, he was a first-round pick out of Sierra Vista High School. He collects his 4th career RBI. Let's go. Arizona is now back to a 500 record. Good good for them. The Mariners and the A's, J-Rod. Julio with a 3-run Oppo Taco. That was the first home run in front of home fans, so number 1 in Seattle for J-Rod. Cal Raleigh steps up after Marco Gonzalez got clipped for a bunch of runs by the A's, so that's a 2-run shot, and then Eugenio Suarez delivers in the clutch. 23 RBIs, 9 home runs, a 135 OPS plus. Jesse Winker's not doing too hot, but in my opinion, that trade has been pretty solid so far. Paul Sewald doesn't mess around in the 9th. He earns his 2nd save, and the Mariners have improved to 18-25, so they're 7 games under 500. Let me know in the comment section down below, can they make the comeback? And last but not least, are the Giants getting exposed? They've been playing a bunch of good teams lately, and they've been getting smoked in a ton of those games. Lindor is showing some life. He bloops a 2-run ground rule double, and then Pete Alonso gets in on the scoring party. He pummels this poor baseball for a 3-run shot. He momentarily took over the RBI lead from J-Ram, but then of course we saw what J-Ram did. So Pete Alonso is sitting at 40 RBIs, and J.D. Davis has been destroying baseballs all year. He grabs an RBI on that double, and McNeil, he uses his little legs, as the fan was trolling him. He needs to work on his legs. He has no power. He drives that one 408 feet. Mark Canha lifts one out as well, and Jesus, they will not stop. Pat Mazeika, Escobar, Davis, they all pour. Well, I shouldn't say pour. They literally dump salt in the wound of Giants fans, and the Giants have now lost 5 games in a row, but I guess it's good to get it out now as opposed to when it counts later on in the season. But that is going to do it for today's MLB recap. Staying with the Mets real quick, today's super thanks shout out is going to Justin. He believes that the Mets are going all the way, so if you want to support the channel just a little bit extra, I'd appreciate. There's a little super thanks button at the bottom of the video, kind of towards the like button, but that does it. And to end today's recap, let's show the web gems.
2. Hit sharply. Edman up. Oh, what a play, Tommy Edman.
Can he play shortstop? I would say so. Range is out, full extension.
And this is pulled to right. Charlie makes a sliding. Smashes that ball to right center. Senzel at the wall, leaps up. Nick Senzel.
The baseball after you bang into the wall. Welcome back.
Hits that one sharply past Segura into right center field. Contreras around third, heading for home. The throw by Roman Quinn is in time.
Ooh, pokes a change. Freeman catches it. 7 shutout innings from Tyler Anderson.